We get in the back? Okay. Let's start with a statement from Coach and then take some questions.
Yeah, just a comment, a great win over a really good opponent, and really proud of our team and our fans and our entire organization for how hard they fought and played. We had to overcome a deficit 4 different times in that game, and I'm really proud of them. But for us as a organization and as a team, it's time for us to move on and focus on our next opponent. Much like the hype video that we had on Friday, it's a this play mentality, and for us it's a this game and this opponent mentality, and it's a this practice mentality. So our entire focus has shifted, and we're really done with last week, and we're really focused on this week and this opponent. We're really excited to be partnering with the St. Louis Sports Commission. What a great opportunity for us to play a Lou to the Zoo game and play in the Dome. I know I appreciate the work of our athletic department, specifically our athletic director, in getting this accomplished and to make this possible. And I know, on behalf of not just myself but the 18 players that we have on our team that are from the St. Louis area, we are excited to partner and to play in St. Louis, one of the premier sports cities in the United States. And I know that our fans are going to turn out, and it's going to be a great atmosphere, and we are really, really excited to play. We have a great opponent. Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers are 3-0. They have the qualities of a really good football team. They have an outstanding defense that's top 10 in most of the categories, specifically in takeaways, pass defense, and points. They have a tremendous quarterback that I think plays at a really high level. Seth Hennigan's a 3-year starter. He was a freshman All-American. And when you have a really good quarterback, a solid defense, and confidence, you have a good football team. And we're going to have to play better than we played on Saturday in order for us to have an opportunity to win this game. And so we really got to play and focus this week. From a personnel and injury standpoint, Brady Cook is still healing from his hyperextended knee that occurred in the game. We did MRI it. There is no ligament damage or anything but he will be out today. He will not be at practice, and I figured I'd just address that since most of y'all will be at practice today looking for him. He'll be day-to-day. We're monitoring the swelling and the bruising, and when he can practice, he'll practice, and we'll be day-to-day on that. So Marcellus Johnson also was injured in the game, and really similar to Brady, there is no structural damage in his ankle, but he will be out today from practice, and will be reevaluated Thursday to see what his status will be for the game. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. We can wait till everybody finishes their tweets if they need to.
Eli, when you talk about moving forward, how do you balance, taking the confidence from, a top 15 win like that, and also moving forward and flipping the page, like you said?
Yeah, there's a difference between taking confidence and living in the past. To live in the past is to die in the present. You look back on the things that you did good, but you really focus on the things that you got to improve on and go to work on them. And I think that was our mindset yesterday. I know it was in our team meeting, and I know it was at practice. I think we talk about ignoring the noise all the time, and that's usually when you think of it in a negative context, but you have to really do the same thing in a positive context. Because it's all outside influences. The only thing that you can control is your own focus and mental fortitude, and so to get caught up in praise or blame, they're really the same thing either way. You really can't get caught up in either one of them. You got to focus on running your race and focusing on this play, which is the things that we control, and that's the message to our team, good and bad.
With Brady, obviously played the entire fourth quarter or second half after that. Is that in just kind of adrenaline, and it doesn't really swell up till later with that type of injury?
Yeah, I mean that just speaks to the toughness of the young man. I mean, obviously, when things settle, then that's when the swelling occurs, and that's going to be the bruising starts to formulate and the blood starts to happen. So I mean, that's what a bone-on-bone knee bruise does. So I think while he was keeping it active and had the brace on and adrenaline, I don't think he was quite as worried about it. But once you sleep on it and it gets stiff, then there's obviously a lot of different work that has to be done.
Right off of that, when you played Kurt, what were some of the things that you saw in film that really impressed you from him, especially after coming off the Middle Tennessee State game where the offense was not as efficient?
Yeah, I thought deep ball accuracy was really good. I think he was efficient in his reads. Didn't think he forced the ball too many times. Obviously, the anticipation windows in the 2-minute drive that he threw on the end cuts were really good. There was a couple of third down conversions that he had late. Really good throws to Mookie. So I thought all of that was positive.
Yeah, the sense as you were able to, after the game was over, pretty much all day your program becomes kind of the team everyone's talking about in all college football. And you get a sense of what that means for the program, kind of big picture, to be able to, in modern college football, break through and be that team everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we took advantage of the opportunity that was presented to us. But, to live in the past is die in the present. It's only going to matter if we continue to put our best foot forward this week and focus on this week's opponent. And we got to move on. It was good. Enjoy the moment, be present, but you can't live in the past. We got to be present on Toughness Tuesday.
Where's Brett Northleaf? I mean, getting a little bit more action. It seems like every week, and obviously made a big play down the sideline. What do you like about what he's done?
Yeah, I think he's continuing to progress both physically. He plays a physical brand of football and obviously does a really nice job catching the football down the field. I think biggest thing for Brett and really everybody on our team is just consistency of performance. We can't have lulls in our game, and that's not unique to Brett. I think there was quite a few lulls in the game from a offensive standpoint in the second quarter and really in that third and middle of the fourth quarter. So it comes down to consistency of execution.
Athleticism and catching the ball are one thing, but is he ahead of where you expected blocking wise?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is very physical. That was. I mean, you saw it when he played at Francis Howell because he was playing both ways, offense and defense. So you had it in him, but you didn't know how quickly it would translate. But 6'7", 250 translates pretty good.
Coach, in terms of play action looks, it seems like they expanded a little bit in terms of both quality and quantity against K-State. What are you kind of taking away from what worked there that you want to see as the season goes on?
I mean, every game plan is uniquely that game plan, and we had plays off of plays, which is the design of most good offenses, and there were looks based off of film that kind of set those up. So, I don't know that Memphis presents its own unique challenges. They have a totally different structure of defense and style. I think Coach Barnes, their defensive coordinator, has done a really tremendous job. They are very efficient, not only forcing turnovers, but really good on third downs, and they have a different style. It's really unique to the considering the first three opponents that we've had. They're not really like the other three. So I don't know that we'll be able to carry over, other than the confidence that we were able to execute those plays. I don't know that we can carry over those play designs because they were unique to that defense.
Your defense forcing turnovers, is that, now that it's kind of broken through, is that something you feel like?
I mean, 1 out of 3 games ain't exactly breaking the ice, so it's something that we have to continue to do. It was the difference in the game ultimately, because we were +3 off of turnovers, but we got to be even better. And I think that attributes to, I think last year 45% of our turnovers occurred on third downs. We were a lot more productive on getting off the field in third downs, which we haven't been in the first 3 games. Therefore, our turnover numbers haven't been there. So we've got to do a better job of executing on third down and giving ourselves an opportunity to create those havoc plays and turnovers. And, 1 is never enough, right? So we would love to get more, and hopefully that is a starting point, but it's definitely not. We want to be +2 in every game.
On the offensive side of the ball, you
guys were 3 for 13 on third down. What did you see looking at those plays and kind of thinking that going forward?
Yeah, not nearly good enough. We were 0 for 3 and 4-point plays in the red zone. There was several issues, one of which was just not being in manageable third downs. You know, they are a type of defense that really likes to play a drop 8 style and a 3 safety look, so third and extra long is not something that you're going to have just a ton of success on. So we got to be better there. And then we had a protection issue. We gave up a sack on a 3-man rush that really should be totally avoidable. We had a drop in the red zone on a play that could have easily been converted. So I think some of it was self-inflicted, some of it was scheme design, and some of it was execution. And it's definitely a focus for both sides of the ball this week that really needs to improve in a hurry.
Speaking in all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, is there an advantage of playing in more of a controlled environment in a dome stadium?
Well, it looks like it's supposed to rain here Saturday, so we don't have to worry about that, which is good. I don't know. I really don't know. It used to be one of the greatest show on turf, right? So hopefully it's good scoring opportunities for the offense, but hopefully it's not as quite as good as scoring opportunities for their offense. But we'll see. I don't. I can't remember the last time I participated in a dome game.
Eli, do you get a sense talking to some of these kids from St. Louis, Brady, Luther, what this means to them to play in the dome? I'm sure they grew up watching, play the dome. Yeah,
there's an excitement, obviously from the 18 student athletes that are on our team from St. Louis, just to go back and play. And obviously they're getting hit up about tickets and trying to beg, borrow, and steal from their teammates to get their tickets if they're not using them. So that's always fun and unique. And but I think when you're a player that goes off to college, whenever that university comes home to play, it's just something to really be proud of. It's our largest alumni base, I believe, outside of Columbia. So I think it's a really good opportunity for our student athletes to put themselves on a showcase. And again, it's in one of the premier cities. I think, possibly when you think about being from St. Louis, you think about the championships that have been won there, and you identify with the great Cardinals players of the past and the great Rams players of the past and the great Blues players, and for you to have that opportunity in that stage to be talked about the local media, I think it's probably a childhood dream.
For Luther, we've always seen how strong he is and how good he is in traffic. Saw some of that on Saturday. How have you seen him kind of take that natural talent from high school and improve it in his junior year?
Well, I think it's his route running ability that's really improved too. I mean, I think you're seeing the full complement of wide receiver. I think obviously moving him to the slot was beneficial for him because he's so big and fast and powerful, and it's really hard to press a slot wide receiver. I think his combination of being able to catch the ball and create in a screen game or in a horizontal game, but then you have to realize that he can run past you too, has been big. We still missed some really key opportunities, but he's continuing to improve, and I think it's based on his growth as a full wide receiver instead of just a bigger guy who needs touches.
Chet Bailey played about 20 snaps. Is that something you can build up? But also at the same time, did Chuck's play these first 3 weeks kind of force him to stay in that rotation?
No, I mean, I'll answer those two questions independently. That is about what we expected out of Chad, and we anticipate, hopefully getting that up a little bit more. But we can't throw him out there for 60 plays yet. Not from a conditioning standpoint or a functionability standpoint. And yes, Chuck has played really well, and Chuck has a good feel for our defense, and really for us to be the best defense that we can be, we need 3 or 4 linebackers rotating consistently, so that we're playing fresh. And we missed that quite a bit last year. We were playing 2 guys 60+ snaps a game. Ultimately, we would like that to be more of a 40-30 split if we could.
For a guy like Joe Moore, what has he done to, get done in practice and fall camp to get involved as he has this early in his time here?
Yeah, Joe's a guy that we recruited out of the portal and felt like he could create pass rush ability and play in the run game. Obviously, I think for him, he's got to continue just to understand the totality of what we're asking him to do on the defensive side of the ball and limit his exposure. Defense, all 11 guys got to do their job, and especially in Coach Bake's defense where we ask everybody to do something every play and it's not just see ball, hit ball. So he's got to continue just to understand the totality of the defense. I think it will, this is his first time through hearing calls and game plan calls and carrying over those game plan calls each week to week. I think as we're into week 4 and carry on, there'll be a familiarity with the calls each week, and okay, this is same as what I did this past week, and I think it'll continue to allow him opportunities.
You mentioned Seth Hennigan. What have you seen on film about Memphis' run game? They rushed almost 50 yards last week.
Yeah. Obviously, I think their running back Blake Watson, who's a transfer from Old Dominion, very dynamic, has game-changing, game-breaking speed. Has rushed the ball really well. I think that's helped in their pass attack. Obviously, when they're running the ball that well, you have to commit a different style to stop it, and creates one-on-one matchups. Their quarterback is very efficient throwing the football. He moves well in the pocket. He makes sound decisions throwing the ball vertically down the field. He can escape. That's not obviously what he does every play, but he does have enough athleticism to keep you on your toes, similar to what happened to us last week. And we got exposed in some quarterback run areas that we're going to have to get cleaned up. And he's got a lot of experience. I mean, he's played in a lot of football games, so this is not going to be something that he's going to be excited to perform against us.
Struggle to get going a little bit against K-State. Is that more just them giving the mentality up front, or is that something that you think you can improve on?
Yeah, honestly, we kind of went into the game with the mindset of a throw-first mentality in this game. We weren't really anticipating like we got to establish the run, and I think that was kind of more of a byproduct of that. We did run the ball effectively when we needed to. Again, we had a couple of big sack negative yardage plays that were self-inflicted that kind of hurt our rushing total. But when you're watching the game, I didn't ever feel like we couldn't get a yard running the ball. I felt like it was just a product of how the game plan design was. We knew going into it was going to be a throw-first game, and really our run game was going to be driven more off the quarterback. And once that kind of got taken away from us in that mid-second quarter, we needed to get to more throwing it.
I don't know how the process of decision on a game location works exactly, but you've got 2 major cities that are 2 hours away that I know you've played in before, but a lot of people, want as many games here as possible. What's your feelings just on how often you'd like to be able to play, or who you'd like to be able to play in Kansas City or St. Louis?
Maybe that's a better question for me in the off season, just because in the past when I've answered that question, it's kind of been taken in a certain way. I'm just excited about this opportunity this week, and I think it's something that was set up, and I think it's been good for our alumni base. And I know we've been to Kansas City. We plan on we have a game contracted through them too that at some point we'll play there. So I think wherever they tell us to play, we're excited to play.
Coach, last week you talked about wanting to see a little more competition on the O-line, especially at right guard. Obviously, I'm sure the Marcellus injury complicated that a little bit in the game. What are you looking to see on the O-line this week as far as competition?
Same thing. I think it's just a growth and maturity. Marcellus was playing really well for us, and we'll obviously get him back. So that's good. The good news is we'll get him back. But, we got to be more consistent in our preparation, in our daily habits. I challenged our team yesterday and continue to challenge them. Practice is for improvement. You practice to improve. And it's not just to go out there and see what the defense is going to, or what the looks are, and then I'll just magically make it happen on Saturday. No, you got to go out there every day and work your techniques and fundamentals, and what you struggled with in the game, you need to show it in Tuesday in improvement. And what shows up at walkthrough is going to show up at run through, and what shows up at run through is going to show up at practice. And if you believe practice execution is game day reality, then we have to be better in all those phases. And I think that's just a maturity level. When you're a better athlete or more talented than other players, in high school and maybe early in your career, you think you can just show up and you'll out-talent them. But when you realize the margins are so small, and the little things, doing the little things really well are the real separators in life, I think that's when there's a lot of growth and a chance to be a championship team. And I think we're starting to see that in some areas. I really think Connor Tollison has really grown in that area. I mean, right now the MVP of our offensive line is Xavier Delgado. The way he is methodical about how he prepares, he's a low drama off the field, has a tremendous habits of how he prepares himself each week to perform at a high level. We just got to get everybody to do that. And when we get that, not just in the O-line, but in the tight end room, and the running back room, and the wide receiver room, and the quarterback room, then you're going to have a unit that's functioning at a championship level. And that's everybody's own individual drive. Like, I can preach it all I want, but I only get 20 hours with you. So at some point, that's got to be your own drive. And if you'll do it in football, you'll do it in your career, you'll do it in your marriage, you'll do it in your as a father, and you'll find a lot of success in doing that. So hopefully we're teaching more of a life skill than just a football skill.
What kind of impact do you think this game can have sort of as a recruiting tool? You have players that can come to this game at home, high school teams in the area come and see the program up close.
Yeah, I think anytime you can take your product on the road to a city that you heavily evaluate and recruit, you want to put your best foot forward, and you want to put you want to be a window to what you really are. So, I'm really hopeful and grateful to all the fans that after the game have bought tickets, and ticket sales have really gone up for that game. And I'm hopeful for an unbelievable crowd and a great atmosphere. And then we got to do our part by executing.
Harrison change your thought process going into games of how far you might let him kick from with what he did on Saturday?
Yeah, we're going to stay away from the 50s and focus on the 60s now. It's been a lot better in the 60s than it has the 50s. So, no, I mean, I think it's just a belief in your players. We've always known he has a really strong leg. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. If it wasn't the last play of the game, I'm not sure I would have done that, just because the spot would have been where the spot was for the opponent to take over the ball. But yeah, yep, he knew it. He walked it off. If y'all saw the highlight, he started walking to the sideline.
Thank y'all.
MIZ.